Listen closely, because this might be the most important thing you hear today. Most men are asleep not physically, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally. They wake up every day, they move, they eat, they scroll, they talk, they go back to sleep, and they think that's living. But that's not living. That's existing. That's survival mode. You've been programmed to believe that this routine, this comfort, this mediocrity is normal. That it's okay to waste your potential, to numb your hunger, to silence the voice in your soul that's screaming for more. And I'm here to tell you it's not okay. Because deep down, you know you were meant for something more. You've been trapped inside an illusion built by a system that wants you weak, predictable, obedient. They feed you distractions disguised as entertainment. They give you comfort disguised as happiness. They give you convenience disguised as success. But all of it, every scroll, every cheap dopamine hit, every lazy day is designed to keep you asleep. You don't see the chains because they're invisible. They come in the form of habits, of routine, of comfort zones. The average man is chained by his phone, his vices, his fears, and he doesn't even realize it. Look around you. Men don't fight anymore. They don't chase greatness. They don't stand up for anything. They've been trained to stay silent, to complain, to fit in, to follow rules made by people who never cared about them. The truth is, no one's coming to save you. No government, no friend, no miracle. The world doesn't care about your feelings. The only one who can wake you up from this illusion is you. When was the last time you looked in the mirror and saw a man who's alive? Not just breathing, but alive. When was the last time you felt purpose? Real purpose, that fire in your chest, that hunger that keeps you awake at night because you know you're meant for more. Most of you can't even remember because the illusion has numbed you. You've been hypnotized by comfort. Every time life challenges you, you run back to what's easy: the bed, the phone, the distraction, the fake escape. You've forgotten what it means to fight. But the truth is, greatness has a price, and the first payment is pain. To wake up from this illusion, you have to break yourself free from comfort. That's not easy, it's war. You'll have to confront the weakest version of yourself, the one that loves comfort, the one that makes excuses, the one that chooses pleasure over progress. That version of you has to die. You have to kill it every single day, because the man you were meant to be is buried under layers of weakness, laziness, and fear. Most men will never break out of the illusion because it's too comfortable. They'd rather live a soft lie than face a hard truth. They'll keep wasting time chasing entertainment, talking about success instead of working for it. And then one day they'll wake up old, tired, and full of regret, realizing that they had one chance, one life, and they spent it half asleep. You don't want to be that man. You can't afford to be that man. You see, the illusion is clever. It gives you enough pleasure to keep you quiet. It makes you feel good about being average. It rewards you for staying safe, for being just like everyone else. But what it doesn't tell you is that every time you choose comfort, you lose a piece of yourself. Every time you pick the easy path, you drift further from who you were meant to be. You weren't created to be average. You were created to be strong, dangerous, focused, and unstoppable. And that starts by waking up. Waking up means questioning everything: your habits, your environment, your beliefs. Why do you think the way you think? Why do you act the way you act? Are you truly in control of your life, or are you living someone else's design? Because most people are living by default, not by decision. They've been told what to value, what to fear, what to chase, and they never stop to ask, does this even make me powerful? Does this even make me alive? When you finally see the illusion for what it is, the world starts to look different. You stop blaming others. You stop seeking pity. You stop waiting for motivation. You take responsibility not just for your actions, but for your thoughts, because that's where true power begins. The man you were meant to be doesn't live in the illusion. He breaks it. He doesn't need permission to rise. He doesn't need validation to move. He knows the world will always try to keep him asleep, and he chooses to stay awake. You were not born to be tamed. You were not born to obey. You were born to dominate, to build, to fight for meaning in a world that offers none. The illusion tells you to relax. I'm telling you to rise. The illusion tells you you're enough as you are. I'm telling you that you're not until you've become the strongest, most disciplined, most unshakable version of yourself. Because deep down, You know that's the truth. And until you wake up, you'll never meet that man. Every man wants to be powerful, respected, unbreakable, but very few are willing to walk through what it actually takes to get there. Everyone wants the reward, but no one wants the war. Everyone wants strength, but no one wants struggle. That's the problem. You've been taught to run from pain your entire life. You've been conditioned to avoid anything uncomfortable, to choose the easy way, the soft route, the painless option. But what if I told you that pain isn't your enemy? What if pain is actually the path? The difference between a weak man and a strong man is not that one avoids pain, it's that one embraces it. Pain is the universe's test. It's the fire that forges real men. Every challenge you face, every rejection, every heartbreak, every failure, it's there for a reason. It's not there to destroy you, it's there to shape you. You can't build muscle without resistance. You can't build discipline without struggle. You can't build strength without pain. Every time life hits you, it's handing you a lesson disguised as suffering. But most men never learn. They collapse, they quit, they complain. They see pain as punishment instead of preparation. You need to understand pain is information. It's feedback. It's telling you where you're weak. When your body hurts in the gym, it's telling you which muscle needs growth. When your mind hurts after failure, it's telling you which part of your character needs fortification. Pain is your teacher. It's the mirror that shows you exactly where you're not strong enough yet. But instead of listening, men run from it. They numb themselves. They distract themselves. They pretend it's not there. And in doing so, they rob themselves of the very growth they need to become who they're supposed to be. You can't develop power in comfort. The world's most dangerous men, the ones who command respect when they walk into a room, they were built in hardship. They've been beaten, betrayed, broken, and burned, and they still stood back up. That's what separates them from everyone else. They didn't escape pain, they used it. They didn't cry about their situation, they conquered it. They didn't wait for things to get easier, they got stronger. Because pain will either break you or build you, and you decide which one it's going to be. If you truly want to evolve, you have to make a decision right now. You will stop running from pain. You will stop seeking comfort. You will stop thinking that an easy life is a good life. Because comfort is where dreams die. Comfort is where potential fades. Comfort is where men lose their edge. Every moment you choose comfort over challenge, you get weaker. Every time you avoid pain, you delay your own evolution. And one day, you'll wake up realizing you wasted years avoiding the very thing that would have made you great. The truth is, pain is honest. It doesn't lie. It doesn't sugarcoat. It doesn't care about your excuses. It exposes who you really are. You can post all the quotes, talk all the talk, pretend you're disciplined, but when pain hits, the truth comes out. Pain reveals your character. When you're tired, when you're broke, when you're betrayed, when you're alone, that's when the real you shows up. And that's the moment that defines your future. So stop praying for an easy life. Start praying for strength to handle a hard one. Because a man who can handle pain becomes unstoppable. When pain no longer scares you, the world can't control you. You become dangerous not because you hurt others, but because nothing can hurt you anymore. You've built armor from the inside out. That's what true power looks like. Not a car, not money, not status, but emotional resilience, mental toughness. The ability to walk through hell and smile because you know it's making you stronger. The world will keep testing you. It's supposed to. Every betrayal, every setback, every loss, they're all chances to grow. You can let them harden you into a bitter man or mold you into a powerful one. Pain can either poison you or purify you. It depends on how you use it. The choice is always yours. Most men break under pain because they think life's unfair. But life isn't unfair, it's honest. It gives you exactly what you need to level up, even if it hurts. Every scar you carry tells a story. Every sleepless night, every disappointment, every failure, they're all proof that you're fighting. Don't hide from them. Don't bury them. Wear them like armor. Because the man who has suffered and survived becomes a weapon. You can't shake a man who's already walked through hell. You can't intimidate a man who's made peace with pain. You can't destroy a man who knows that every wound only makes him wiser, tougher, and sharper. You see, The man who runs from pain becomes weak, but the man who embraces it becomes free. Pain liberates you. It kills your ego. It forces you to grow. It strips away the illusions of who you thought you were and introduces you to who you truly are. Every man must walk through his own fire. There's no shortcut, no cheat code, no escape. But once you realize that the fire doesn't burn you, it builds you, everything changes. That's when you stop fearing pain and start chasing it, because you know that every time it hurts, it's working. Everybody wants success. Everybody wants power, respect, freedom, strength, but the truth is, almost no one will ever get there. Not because they're not smart enough, not because they're not capable enough, but because they rely on motivation. They wait for a feeling that never lasts. Motivation is cheap. It's emotional fuel. It burns bright for a moment and then disappears. And when it disappears, most men stop. They quit the gym. They quit the business. They quit on themselves. They say, I don't feel like it today. But let me tell you something, the man you were meant to be doesn't care about feelings. He's built on discipline. Discipline is what separates the men who talk from the men who build. Motivation will get you started, but discipline is what keeps you going when the world gets dark. You can watch all the videos, read all the quotes, listen to all the motivational speeches you want, but if you don't have discipline, you'll fall every single time. Because discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. It's waking up when you're tired. It's grinding when no one's watching. It's staying committed when the results haven't shown up yet. That's the real power. That's what most people can't handle. You think champions wake up motivated every morning? You think they feel inspired every time they train? No. They wake up tired, sore, drained, but they still do it because they've trained their mind to obey their purpose, not their emotions. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is permanent. The difference is night and day. Motivation says, I'll do it when I feel good. Discipline says, I'll do it because I said I would. The truth is, discipline is freedom. You think freedom is doing whatever you want, whenever you want. That's not freedom, that's slavery to impulse. Real freedom is control over your body, your mind, your time. And that control comes only through discipline. A disciplined man can walk through chaos and stay focused. He can be surrounded by distractions and still stay on his path. He doesn't need external validation because his validation comes from within, from keeping his word to himself. That's how you build self-respect. That's how you build power. Every time you tell yourself you'll do something and you actually do it, you become stronger. You train your mind to trust you. But every time you break your own promise, every time you hit snooze, every time you say, I'll start tomorrow, you weaken yourself. You teach your mind that your word means nothing. That's why so many men feel lost, because they don't trust themselves anymore. They've lied to themselves too many times. They've broken too many promises. Discipline rebuilds that trust. It's how you reclaim your power. You want to change your life. Forget waiting for motivation. Motivation is for amateurs. Professionals operate on discipline. You go to the gym not because you feel like it, but because it's who you are now. You work on your goals not because it's convenient, but because it's your duty. You stay focused when it's boring, you stay consistent when it's hard, and you stay loyal to the grind when no one claps for you. Because real men don't need applause, they need progress. Think about the moments that define your life. They're never easy. They're always the moments when you didn't want to do it, but you did it anyway. When you were tired, when you were doubting yourself, when you were tempted to quit, and yet you pushed through. That's where strength is born. That's when you earn respect, not from others, but from yourself. You can't fake discipline. You can't buy it. You can only build it through repetition, through struggle, through doing what's uncomfortable again and again until it becomes your nature. Every man has two voices inside him. One says, take it easy, you deserve rest. The other says, get up and grind, you're not done yet. The weak man listens to the first voice. The strong man listens to the second. Which one you listen to determines your future. Because life doesn't reward comfort, it rewards consistency. You don't need to be the smartest, the fastest, or the most talented. You just need to be the most disciplined. The man who shows up every day, who executes regardless of mood or circumstance, will always beat the man who works only when it's easy. Discipline is the foundation of every great thing in your life. Without it, everything collapses. Your body, your business, your mindset, all of it requires discipline to survive. And here's the truth: most people avoid discipline hurts at first. It feels like sacrifice, it feels like loss, it feels like struggle. But over time, it becomes strength, it becomes pride, it becomes peace, because nothing feels better than knowing you control yourself. That's real power, not money, not fame, not luck, but mastery over your own will. You can't become the man you were meant to be if you keep living by your feelings. Feelings are temporary. Purpose is permanent. You have to train your mind like a muscle. Every rep counts. Every time you push through laziness, every time you ignore the voice that says, stop, you're building something unbreakable inside you. Discipline is not a punishment, it's a weapon. It's what turns average men into warriors, dreamers into doers, and victims into leaders. The man who has discipline doesn't wait for the perfect time, he creates it. He doesn't wait to feel ready, he acts. Because he knows that when motivation dies, discipline is what keeps the mission alive. The most dangerous battlefield in the world isn't a war zone. It's the space between your ears. The mind, that's where victory or defeat begins. Every success, every failure, every dream achieved or destroyed starts inside your head. Most men lose not because life beats them, but because their own thoughts do. You think it's your circumstances holding you back. You think it's bad luck, bad timing, no opportunity. No, it's your mind. It's the voice that whispers, you can't. It's the excuses you tell yourself to justify staying the same. It's the fear, the doubt, the hesitation, all coming from the same place. Your mind can either be your greatest ally or your deadliest enemy, and the difference is whether you control it or it controls you. When you look around, you'll notice most people aren't living. They're just reacting to emotions, to impulses, to external noise. They wake up and check their phones before they even check their thoughts. They let the world dictate how they feel, how they think, how they move. That's not power, that's slavery. If your emotions can control your actions, you don't own your life. You're a puppet to your own weakness. Every man who ever built something great learned this truth early. If you can't control your mind, you'll never control your reality. Think about how often your own thoughts betray you. You say you're going to start, and your mind says, what if you fail? You say you'll push harder, and your mind says, you deserve rest. You try to improve yourself, and your mind whispers, it's pointless. That voice, that soft, deceitful voice, has killed more dreams than failure ever has. It's subtle. It sounds logical. It sounds protective. But it's not. It's poison. It's the comfort mechanism built to keep you safe, not successful. And until you silence that voice, you'll always be its prisoner. The truth is, your mind was not designed to make you happy. It was designed to keep you safe. It fears pain, risk, rejection, all the things that are necessary for growth. So when you push toward greatness, your mind will fight back. It'll create doubt, distractions, excuses, anything to drag you back to comfort. That's why you can't negotiate with it. You have to dominate it. You have to become the commander of your own thoughts. When your mind says, I'm tired, you tell it, we'll go again. When your mind says, it's too risky, you say, then it's worth it. You have to reprogram your mental dialogue until it obeys you instead of limiting you. The man who conquers his mind becomes unstoppable. He's not swayed by emotion. He doesn't crumble under pressure. He doesn't need motivation, validation, or approval. He moves because he decided to, not because he feels like it. That's what true mental mastery looks like: power without permission. But getting there takes war. You have to fight yourself every single day. You have to battle the fear that tries to freeze you. You have to kill the doubt that whispers you're not enough. You have to destroy the part of your mind that feeds off weakness and excuses. Most people are scared of external enemies, but the real enemy lies inside them. It's the part of them that procrastinates, that overthinks, that justifies laziness. It's the part that says, tomorrow. And that's the most dangerous lie a man can believe, because tomorrow becomes next week, next year, never. The mind will convince you to stay comfortable because comfort feels safe, but safety is the enemy of evolution. Every time you obey that inner weakness, you shrink. Every time you challenge it, you grow. You can't conquer the world until you conquer yourself. That's not just a saying, that's reality. You can have money, status, and recognition, but if your mind is weak, you'll lose it all. That's why discipline and mental control go hand in hand. You build them through repetition, through doing hard things, through forcing your mind to obey even when it screams to stop. You become stronger every time you override emotion with action. Every time you feel fear and move anyway, you take power back from the enemy within. And here's the truth, most won't tell you your mind will never fully quiet down. The fear, the doubt, the negative thoughts, they don't disappear. You just get stronger than them. You learn to act in spite of them. You learn to keep your emotions in check. That's real masculinity. That's real control. Being calm under chaos, composed under stress, focused when everything around you tries to distract you. That's what separates leaders from followers, kings from peasants, warriors from watchers. Once you learn to control your mind, you unlock everything. Because now nothing external can shake you. You stop chasing pleasure, you stop reacting to problems, and you start creating solutions. You stop wasting time comparing yourself to others because you understand the only competition is you versus your old self. Every day is another chance to prove who's in charge, you or your mind. The world will always try to pull you in 100 directions: fear, temptation, distraction, comfort. But if your mind is fortified, none of it matters. You'll move like a man with purpose, unaffected, unshakable. That's when you realize mastery isn't about controlling the world. It's about mastering yourself. Because once your mind obeys you, everything else follows. Every man wants to rise, to build something powerful, to become unstoppable, but most men never do. Not because they lack talent or intelligence, but because they waste their energy on the wrong people, the wrong habits, and the wrong environments. Energy is everything. It's your life force. It's the invisible power behind your actions, your focus, your ambition. And if you don't protect it, the world will drain it out of you until you have nothing left to give. The truth is, not everyone deserves access to you. Not every conversation deserves your attention. Not every environment deserves your presence. You have to become ruthless with your energy if you ever want to become the man you were meant to be. Look around your life right now. Who are you spending time with? What kind of energy do they bring? Do they push you to rise, or do they keep you the same? Are you surrounded by builders or by talkers? Because your environment will always shape your evolution. You can't expect to become a lion while living in a cage full of sheep. The people you surround yourself with are either feeding your fire or extinguishing it. You absorb their habits, their mindset, their level of discipline, even their fears. If you spend enough time around weak men, you start thinking weakness is normal. If you spend your days around men who complain, you'll start seeing the world the same way, as something happening to you instead of something you can dominate. You need to understand that energy is contagious. You become what you consume, not just in food or media, but in company. Every interaction leaves a residue. Every conversation either adds to your strength or takes from it. That's why you have to guard your circle like a fortress. The moment you let negativity, laziness, or toxicity into your space, it begins to infect your mind. And before you know it, you've lost your focus, your drive, your hunger. You wake up feeling drained without realizing it's not life that's heavy, it's your environment. You have to become selective. That's not arrogance, that's awareness. You can't save everyone, and you can't move forward if you're constantly carrying dead weight. Sometimes you have to let people go, not because you hate them, but because you love your future more. You can't grow if you're always surrounded by comfort. You can't evolve if you're surrounded by people who fear change. If you hang around men with no ambition, don't be surprised when you start losing yours. If you spend time in environments that reward mediocrity, don't be shocked when excellence feels foreign. Protecting your energy isn't just about cutting people off, it's about creating an atmosphere that fuels you. Where you live, what you see, what you hear, what you speak, it all matters. The music you listen to, the content you consume, the conversations you entertain, they all shape your reality. Every word you allow into your life becomes a seed planted in your mind. Feed it with weakness, and you'll grow weakness. Feed it with strength, and you'll grow power. The man who controls his environment controls his destiny. There will be times when you'll have to walk alone, and that's okay. Most men fear solitude because they've never met themselves. They're addicted to noise, to validation, to distraction. But isolation is where real growth happens. When you cut the noise, you start to hear your own voice again. You begin to realize what you want, who you are, and what's been holding you back. That's why sometimes you need to step away, not to escape, but to elevate. The man who learns to be alone becomes unstoppable because he no longer depends on the world for energy. He generates his own. You need to start treating your energy like currency because that's what it is. Every time you waste it on meaningless arguments, endless scrolling, or fake friendships, you're spending a part of your life you'll never get back. Ask yourself before giving your time to something, does this build me or drain me? Does this bring me closer to my purpose or distract me from it? You have to be brutal with your focus. Protect your mornings, protect your mindset, protect your peace. Because once your energy is scattered, your purpose fades. The truth is, not everyone can go where you're going. Some people are only meant for a chapter, not the whole story. As you rise, you'll lose people, and that's normal. Growth is lonely because not everyone's willing to pay the price for it. But the few who stay, the ones who share your vision, your fire, your discipline, those are the people you build with. Those are your tribe. Surround yourself with killers, and you'll become one. Surround yourself with victims, and you'll die one. And don't just think about people, think about your environment. Look at your room, your workspace, your habits. Is it built for productivity or for procrastination? Is it a place that reminds you of who you are or of who you used to be? You can't expect to live a high-performance life in a low-energy space. Every detail matters. Order creates clarity. Clarity creates power. Power creates momentum. When your environment is disciplined, your mind becomes disciplined. You have to remember, energy is everything. It's the foundation of your focus, your drive, your discipline, your confidence. If you let it leak, everything collapses. But if you protect it, if you direct it with purpose, you become magnetic. You start attracting opportunities, ideas, people who operate on the same frequency. That's not luck, that's alignment. You get what you prepare for, what you tolerate, and what you protect. And when you finally learn to guard your energy like your life depends on it, everything changes, because it does. Most men today chase comfort instead of purpose. They want the car, the watch, the followers, the image, but they've forgotten the mission. They've traded greatness for attention. They build lifestyles instead of legacies. And that's why they never find peace, because deep down, they know they were built for more than luxury. You can't buy fulfillment. You can't rent respect. You can't purchase purpose. A legacy isn't about what you own, it's about what you build, what you become, and what you leave behind when you're gone. Every man eventually comes to a moment where he realizes time is moving fast. You start to see the years slipping by, and you ask yourself, what am I actually doing? What am I leaving behind? That's when reality hits. Most people spend their entire lives chasing temporary pleasure. They grind for material things that mean nothing when the lights go off. You can't take any of it with you. The house, the fame, the validation, it all fades. But your impact, your character, your name, that's what lives forever. That's legacy. Legacy is built through sacrifice, through purpose, through consistency when nobody's watching. It's built when you decide that your life is going to mean something beyond yourself. You stop chasing the next dopamine hit and you start building something that will outlive you. The truth is, a man's true wealth isn't in his possessions, it's in his influence. It's in the lives he changed, the people he inspired, the empire he built from the ground up. That's the kind of power that doesn't fade with age. You see, creating a legacy means you think long term. Weak men live for today. Strong men build for tomorrow. Every decision they make, every habit they form, every action they take is guided by purpose, not pleasure. You have to ask yourself, am I building something that lasts, or am I just chasing something that distracts? Because every choice is either contributing to your legacy or erasing it. The man who builds a legacy doesn't waste time proving himself to the world. He's too busy working in silence. He's too focused on mastering himself, on building systems, on setting standards that others can follow. He doesn't need validation because he's chasing immortality, not in the literal sense, but through his work, his name, his story. Every great man in history became legendary because he refused to live small. He didn't live for the weekend. He didn't live for comfort. He lived for purpose. He lived for something that would echo long after his voice was gone. But here's the truth: legacy has a price. It demands discipline, sacrifice, and an unbreakable commitment to your vision. It means saying no to distractions, no to laziness, no to short-term pleasure. It means late nights, lonely roads, and relentless work. Most men can't handle that. They want results without responsibility. They want recognition without reputation. But legacy isn't built in comfort, it's built in challenge. It's built when you choose purpose over pleasure. Every single day, you have to start thinking like a builder. Everything you do, every word, every move, every decision is part of your foundation. Are you building on sand or stone? Are you building something that'll crumble when life gets hard, or something that stands tall even when you're gone? Because the truth is, your legacy starts right now. It's not some distant dream. It's every moment you live with integrity, every time you lead by example, every time you show up when it's hard. And it's not just about success, it's about significance. Success is measured by what you gain. Legacy is measured by what you give. It's about who you lift up, who you inspire, who you impact. You don't have to change the whole world, but you do have to change your world. You do have to make the people around you stronger because of your presence. That's how you build something that lasts, by being a man whose existence made a difference. Every empire starts with one man who decides that mediocrity is not his destiny. One man who refuses to blend in, who refuses to settle, who refuses to die unnoticed. That's the kind of mindset legacy demands. You don't just live, you lead. You don't just consume, you create. You don't just talk, you build. Because when you're gone, people won't remember what you had, they'll remember who you were and what you stood for. And that's the question you have to ask yourself. What will your name mean when you're not here anymore? When people hear it, will they think of strength, discipline, purpose, power? Or will they think of potential wasted, dreams never chased, a man who talked but never acted? Because every day you're writing that story. Every action you take is a line in your legacy. Every decision either builds your monument or buries it. You don't have to be famous to leave a legacy. You just have to be intentional. You just have to live with purpose so deeply that even your silence speaks. Because legacy isn't about applause, it's about impact. It's not about living forever, it's about creating something that does. The man you were meant to be doesn't chase trends, he creates traditions. He doesn't chase validation, he commands respect. He doesn't chase pleasure, he builds permanence. That's how you move from existence to eternity, by becoming the kind of man whose presence outlives his lifetime. Every man has a fire inside him, a voice whispering that he was born for more. But most men silence that voice. They trade potential for comfort, strength for laziness, and purpose for distraction. This entire journey, everything we've talked about, discipline, mindset, pain, purpose, growth, and legacy, it all comes down to one choice. Will you stay ordinary, or will you become the man you were meant to be? Life doesn't reward the average. It doesn't honor excuses. It rewards those who refuse to quit, who keep pushing when everything falls apart, who rise every time they fall. The world doesn't need more men chasing pleasure. It needs men chasing power, vision, and meaning. The man you were meant to be isn't waiting for motivation. He's built on momentum. He's not hoping for change, he's creating it. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop letting fear, laziness, or doubt control your life. You have one shot at this. One life to build something legendary. One chance to take control of your story before it's too late. Every second wasted is a piece of your potential gone forever. So stand up, reclaim your mind, rebuild your discipline, redefine your purpose. Become the man who doesn't just exist, but dominates. The man who doesn't just talk, but acts. The man who leaves a mark so deep that generations after him still feel his impact. Because you were not created to be average. You were created to lead, to conquer, to rise above. The world remembers warriors, not wanderers. It remembers builders, not bystanders. The choice is yours. You can keep dreaming, or you can start becoming. You can stay who you are, or you can become the man you were always meant to be.